Hi, Tom Cole, the coach for Steve Taylor's Community Connection. It's certainly an honor and a privilege for me to be here with a very talented young man, Tim Ansted, who is the boss of the Perrysburg Chamber of Commerce. And Tim, welcome in, and you're headed into 2 years, not quite two, but I'm very familiar with the work that you're doing in the Perrysburg community, and to me, it's fantastic. You're doing a great job. Also, to me, the Perrysburg community, I think, is one of the strongest, fastest growing economic areas in northwestern Ohio. Kind of take us inside the chamber and your view on the Perrysburg economic viewpoint.
Yeah, no, thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me. And I will start this off first, as I'm not that young anymore. I turned 40 this year, so.
Well, you've got a young face.
In like 2 months, I'll be 40. So I don't know if it's been uphill now. I might be down after that.
China said she thought you were 25.
Yeah,
so.
No, I appreciate that. I've said this before. What a jackpot for me to be able to come in to Perrysburg at this particular time and manage the chamber. Between the growth of the city, the schools, businesses are just coming here. Businesses want to be here. Families want to be here. Raise their families here. Raise their kids here. It's just a great opportunity to be with the Perrysburg Chamber. And I grew up in Perrysburg. I had I graduated from Perrysburg High School in 2002. My senior year was the first year at what I still call the new high school. So I was able to experience that. And I moved away and lived in Kentucky for 18 years, college and work.
And you were a media guy.
Yeah, I was a media guy. I worked for a Clear Channel and turned into iHeartMedia during that time. And I managed the news talk and sports stations. I managed the University of Kentucky football and basketball radio networks, which was a really cool job. I worked with John Calipari, Coach Cal, the basketball coach for the UK men's basketball team. And he always referred to Kentucky basketball as the gold standard. We're the gold standard of college basketball, going to Final Fours and winning national championships are in our blood. And coming back to Perrysburg, I was kind of tasked with revitalizing the Perrysburg Chamber, and in my mind was turning it back into the gold standard, because Perrysburg, as I grew up here, is always the gold standard. And my goal was to make the Perrysburg Chamber the gold standard, because there's so much opportunity in the Perrysburg area to have a strong chamber with all those things that we had already mentioned that are in place. Here in the Perrysburg area. It just makes my job easy that we have so many things that enhance the community, and it's my job to spotlight those things and showcase those things. And it's been just a wonderful experience in the past year and a half so far.
Well, you're good at it, Tim. Number one, you're great with people. I think that's such a big part of any job, but especially yours. The housing that's going up is unbelievable, and the school is athletically, academically, they can't keep growing because they can't handle all the kids and all the people who want to go to Perrysburg. And then when you go down that economic corridor in Perrysburg with the new Culvers, we just did something with Culvers and those folks were great. But you look left and right, First Watch, Culvers. Every place you turn, there's a new place in Perrysburg, and it's Culver's people. It's interesting. It's a compliment to you in the chamber, because they did their research and they could have gone a lot of places, and they said, this Perrysburg area is the place to be. So that's kudos to you guys.
Yeah, no, Jack and Leslie Atkinson are great.
Nice people. Very nice people.
I'll check in with them every so often. So two real quick stories about them. They've told me, almost daily, they do rankings for Culvers throughout the whole country. And the Perrysburg Culvers is a top 10 location every day. I was going through the Culvers drive-thru on like a Saturday night. I was taking my nephew there to get some ice cream, and Jack Atkinson, the owner, was working there at like 9:30 at night. And I looked at him, I go, "Why are you still working here? Go home."
And you're the boss.
But his employees love him. They set a great example, and I think their mentality is that they're gonna, they want to be out there in the trenches with all their employees too, and set that example.
And Steve Taylor's the same way.
Oh yeah.
You ask Supercross or China or anybody, Steve will never ask anybody to do something that he wouldn't do. It's the same philosophy.
Yeah, and you talk about, the growth of Perrysburg. I go living in Kentucky and driving back and forth to my parents' house and back home down to Kentucky. I'd go up and down 75, and now you can see neighborhoods from the express, whereas in the past you couldn't. I always joke now, like people talk about 5 Point Road, and I was like, man, 5 Point Road when I was growing up was, if you're on 5 Point Road, you're either lost or you're doing something you weren't supposed to be doing. So, but it's just crazy, in the schools, they've been able, for the time being, to be able to manage the growth. I know they don't like me using that word, but they've been able to continue to be a top 10 school district in the state. It's a destination school district.
No question.
There's some growth challenges that are about to, that are kind of coming out in the public now, that they'll be asking the public for some help as they continue to grow, as the city continues to grow. But yeah, it's just a really great area. You mentioned Steve and what you guys are doing here at Taylor, and before we even started talking, I was like, you guys do a wonderful job being out in the community, in the communities that you serve, Whereas, a lot of businesses aren't able to do stuff like that, they're cutting those positions. It seems like you guys are always bringing someone new in, continue to grow, and being a part of the community that you guys serve. And I just think that's really a good thing for you all.
You mentioned the Perrysburg schools and how great they are. I taught and coached with Tom Hostler for years at St. John's, and then he, of course, went to Perrysburg, and he's their outstanding superintendent, and he does a remarkable job. Tim, tell folks might not thoroughly know, what a Chamber of Commerce membership means and what it can do for you as a business. That all that connectivity that we just hosted an event at Taylor. You brought in maybe 15 or 20 businesses that came into our shop, and we had coffee and donuts and iced tea and rolls and whatever, and just chatting, and you get to meet people, and there's a connectivity there. And I know that's what you do every day, but tell the folks about the chamber.
Yeah, there's and to be honest, when I took the chamber job, I've had zero chamber experience, so a lot of it, the past year and a half was learning on the fly. But I think I had a lot of transferable skills from my old job to kind of really make the chamber, kind of churn like it needed to. But yeah, no, the chamber, there's this camaraderie, this excitement, especially the Perrysburg chamber, where we're now really starting to kind of catch up with the growth of the community. And people are able to, businesses and individuals, they join the chamber for a lot of different reasons. Some will do it for the networking.
Yes.
Some will do it, there's some discounts that you can get on insurance, group insurance plans. Some want to be able to participate in the events that we do, some of the larger scale events. Some just do it because they've always been a member. They just want to invest in the community, and they see the kind of things that the chamber does, front and center and behind the scenes. So yeah, there's just a lot of opportunities to kind of be a part of the chamber. And one of the biggest things that I've kind of latched onto with the growth of Perrysburg, there's a lot of new businesses coming here.
Constantly.
We've done a lot of ribbon cutting.
Constantly new.
I'm doing ribbon cuttings. I joke about this too. Like the Hobby Lobby people love me because I am wearing out their ribbon cutting section. I buy ribbon from Hobby Lobby all the time. Oh, Tim's here to buy some more ribbon. Good. But yeah, these ribbon cuttings have kind of taken off because we're doing so many of them, and then new businesses are coming in. They're seeing the social media stuff on it. They're seeing the pictures in the message journal, and new businesses are drawn to the chamber because they're like, okay, the chamber is going to come. They're going to celebrate us. They're going to introduce us to the community. They're going to get the mayor there. They're going to get the media there. So that's been something that's really kind of helped our growth, is doing these really, ribbon cuttings that in themselves now have turned into networking events where now other chamber members are coming there, introducing themselves.
Yes.
We have some food chamber members, Nothing But Cakes. I'll give them a shout out. They're over there on Route 20. They will bring 12 little buntini cakes to every ribbon cutting and hand them to the owner and say, welcome to the community, kind of a thing. Just stuff like that. It's just nice to see kind of the community come together for new businesses that are coming here.
And you mentioned the Perrysburg Messenger Journal with Chet. He's so great. I appreciate that paper so much. The blades cut down to, nothing pejorative to them. They're great, but they're 2 days a week. And it's, the Messenger Journal seems to be out all the time. And, you learn so much about your community and surrounding the community with those local papers. Chet does a great job with it. He really does.
Yeah, Chet's got a editor by the name of Jane Welch Mayolo, and she's got to be one of the hardest working people in media. And I would know because I've worked in media, but she tries to be at every ribbon cutting, every luncheon, every coffee.
So you two are running into each other at these ribbon cuttings.
And that's good for me because it gets us any kind of good media that you can get out there.
Absolutely.
Just is able to draw attention to what we're doing, and I can't be more appreciative to the Messenger and for Chet for kind of embracing me and embracing my ideas for the chamber.
He's a great guy.
They understand, there'll be some stuff that they got to cover so often, helping out the chamber. There's stuff that will kind of rattle the cages here in Perrysburg, but also to be able to kind of share the goodwill things, the stuff that we're doing in the community is wonderful to be able to share that.
Absolutely, 100%. I know some stuff you're not at liberty to talk about because maybe it's just in the initial planning stages and there's a reason that you can't talk about it, but are there more things that you're aware of that are happening in Perrysburg that you could clue us in, give us some chamber news?
Put me on the spot here. I mean, I mentioned the school thing, which is now public. The schools are, they're putting a $140 million bond issue on the November ballot, which will include a brand new elementary school, upgrades to Fort Meigs, Woodland, and Toth.
Right.
There'll be some considerations what to do with Frank. It might become kind of another administrative building or a Perrysburg preschool. Major addition to the to the high school where they put an entire new wing on, which would kind of replace where the portables are right now.
Yes.
So this is kind of funny. We did a luncheon at HPI, which is Hall Prairie Intermediate School, last week. which if you haven't been there, it's a beautiful facility. It's worth going to. That was kind of my idea, was let's get chamber members, let's get the business community here to see this school, because a lot of people, my first time in there was a couple months ago, there's a lot of people who pay taxes for the school, but they don't send kids to the schools.
Sure.
And they haven't seen these wonderful facilities that, are being built. So we did a luncheon there, and that school's beautiful. But my joke is, you get 5th and 6th graders that go to experience HPI, and then when they hit 7th grade, they go to the junior high, which needs some serious help. That was my high school, and they've done some stuff. They could probably do some more, but that's in kind of the project too, to enhance the junior high. They're also talking about a field house at the high school that will kind of help them with during the winter, for band practices, extracurriculars, kind of like what they build over in Rossford, something kind of a nice, field house type of thing, which will be really good. Which, as you know, with the athletics, as they're growing in Perrysburg, they need something like that.
The growth in the athletics, the academics and athletics at the Perrysburg schools are exemplary. There's no question about it.
City stuff, there's some works of some bigger corporations coming here. I don't know if I'm at liberty to talk about those yet, but there's some companies that are coming here, kind of the outskirts. Perrysburg Township, Perrysburg Chamber, we have probably 50 some members from the township area, and they're great members too. And Perrysburg Township's an incredibly important part of the area, because they have the land, they have the space to be able to bring in some of these bigger, companies and industries. They also, have better access to the interstates and kind of getting out of the big roads, so you can bring in the big trucks. There's some limitations in Perrysburg with that. And they're affordable too to be in the township too, so that I don't want to forget about the township too, but there's a lot of opportunities. We got the First Solar edition, which is in Perrysburg Township. There's some talk about even more First Solar coming here, which that kind of stuff's great, jobs. And
absolutely.
As I said, even what's crazy about Perrysburg, what I've learned is, even companies that come to Northwest Ohio, their executives, their top level employees are attracted to Perrysburg because they don't put their kids through the school. They know it's safe. They know that there's great services here.
Well, the quality of living in Perrysburg, let's be honest about it. Nothing pejorative to any other place, but if you're talking about family, you're talking about quality of living, you're talking about businesses, you're talking about housing. Perrysburg is kind of an ideal place to be.
Yeah, as I said, it was a great timing for the position at the chamber to open up and meet it. So when we moved back here, I was commuting back and forth to Lexington, Kentucky every week for about 3 straight months, which was not fun. 4 hours down, 3 nights in a hotel, 4 hours back, while I've got an infant and a toddler at home with my wife. So but a lot of people be kind of picky with what job I was going to take, and then the chamber job opened up, and I was like, oh, that seems like something I'd like to do. It's a little different than media. The hours are much better. My old job was, a lot of nights and weekends and stress. So it's been just a really good experience. And, I'm so thankful to be able to meet businesses and get to know you and Steve and Terry so much. And I'm very thankful for your guys' support that I've gotten from you all so far.
Totally our honor. And that's always a two-way street. You've always been accessible and open and wanting to create synergy with businesses. And that's everything. In relationships, you kind of took the right job at the right time, Tim. It's like you took over the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a pretty good situation to be, right? You're going to be good, and that the Perrysburg is going to be good for a long time. But let me ask you this: so when people watch this, Tim, and somebody wants to join the chamber, wants to get involved with the chamber, wants to come to a meeting, wants to see what's going on, how would they do that?
Yeah, the best way would be to check out our website, perrysburgchamber.com. We have an events calendar. Guests are welcome to come to any of our events. I would recommend, if you're thinking about joining, to come to a luncheon, come to a coffee event, come to the chamber office and chat with me. We get a lot of people that still just come in the old school way, knock on the door, and they'll ask for a member guide, they'll ask for some information, and we'll get everything we need to get to any of those prospective members. And if you know any other members that are current members of the chamber, talk to them, because they're a great asset and resource for me in recruitment too, because they're able to kind of speak the good word about what's going on with the chamber.
Well, and you've created, I know I've been to a number of the events that we've hosted, you've created an atmosphere, and that's leadership. Steve does the same thing here, Taylor. But you've created an atmosphere where people are approachable and they are friendly. Just the last breakfast we hosted, people went out of their way to be welcoming, to be friendly. Hey, you're in the community, you're part of our group. It was a very cool vibe. So if somebody's out there thinking about that, contact him, contact the chamber. You won't be disappointed, and it'll certainly help your business and your connectivity. Tim, it's been an honor to have you on the Steve Taylor Community Connection. You are doing a great job. And I think China's right. You look 25,
Well,
so 40. People are never going to take you for 40.
Well.
So job is treating you well.
And I will, I don't want to forget to just thank you, thank Steve, thank the whole Taylor Auto Group for what you guys do in the community. I mean, you guys are able to invest in, parades, events. I always talk about, there's all these different things that, kind of come together that enhance the community.
Right.
And your guys' investment in several of those spokes really does help our community, really does enhance our community. I'm just really thankful and appreciative to have you guys here and active in the Perrysburg area.
Well, it's our honor to be part of it, Tim, and be part of your organization. So thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And that's going to do it today. Tom Cole, the coach, for Steve Taylor, Community Connection. Join your chamber.